What up?
Hey, what's going on?
Are
Can
you
you
hiding that handsome face of yours or what?
can you not see me? So what do I do here? Do I share my screen? Is that what the
I
problem
can't.
is?
I don't know. You gotta that bottom left. There's like a stop video or start video.
Oh, okay, okay. It says FaceTime. Okay. Oh, there we go. I think we're doing this.
Come on. There it
Yeah.
is.
All
There
right.
he is.
There we go. Oh, we're matching. Wow,
Dope, dude. How?
that's funny. I haven't brought it out, I brought it out for my interview last week, but I didn't bring it out for a little while. That's funny. Same hat. There we go.
Dude, I bet you thought that I would not have kept this hat,
Hey, man, I'm surprised it's as wide as it is. I've did good with it.
bro. I've had
Yeah.
this since I think I was going back in time a little bit before we jumped on tonight because I was like, man, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Um, And for those of you listening, I'm hanging out with TySoul. Real name is John Clawson. We'll get into all his aliases tonight throughout the show. But TySoul, musician. But yeah, I went back and we did an interview for the radio show back in 2019, and then I joined you on your podcast with Gus the Savage back in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I appeared on your album with Maine the Medicine back
Yeah.
in 2020 as well. I think that was,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I haven't seen you in like probably a year and a half. To the point where at one point I'm like, shit, man, is he still doing music?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you remember. You were feeling yourself. I did see you briefly at the music awards this year.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair.
For like a minute, you were kind of like,
I was celebrating. I was celebrating.
Oh yeah, man. Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Congratulations, by the way, on that
Oh,
award.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't get out much these days, and when I do, sometimes you know what, the V spot is always like this black hole of fun. You kind of get in there, having drinks, a lot of people, everyone knows each other, and it's like, hey, buy this guy a shot, and he buys you a shot, and Vinny says, hey, this drink's on me, and next thing you
That's
know, you're like, seeing each other and not remembering, but
funny.
that's neither here nor there. That doesn't count. I didn't see you for longer than a minute, so it doesn't
Yeah.
count.
No, it doesn't count. All right. It doesn't count. That's a
All right.
that's a scratch.
All right. But what's up, man? Like I said, I feel like you were pushing music, pushing music, pushing music. And I don't know if you did disappear or maybe you
Yeah,
just
man.
fell off my radar, but kind of a
Yeah.
year or so, and now you're
Yeah.
back.
Yes. So I mean, I was releasing like a single here and there. I think it was like almost like a full year. I probably didn't release anything. Um, and then I released two singles up leading up to my album that's going to be released on the 19th. And that's where we're gonna have the album release show at the Jazz Cafe and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I just started my own dog training business and all that stuff. So I was at a crossroads where I was like, where does music fit in? You know what I mean? And I think all independent artists go through that. I think that you're like, I wish I was making some money or some more money off this rather than, it's an expensive hobby. That's what I call it, but I love to do it. But, I once my business got on its feet and I was able to balance my life better. Cause like when somebody starts a business, it's overwhelming. I mean, especially like something like the field that I'm in, like it's new to me. It's, there's people's dogs and everything's like super, super, stressful because I'm just starting. There's a lot of risk involved with dog training, all that.
Yeah. So can we get into that real quick before
Sure.
we kind of steamroll into the music? I mean, so
Yeah.
TySoul, he's been a musician, but while he was doing that back in our conversation 3 years ago, you had always donated time to the SPCA,
Yeah.
spending time with the dogs and specifically pit bulls and helping out there. You've always been a dog lover. You've had several pit bulls at one point.
I have four right now.
So now you have four, but yeah. So now you have your own dog business.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, right?
What's it called?
It's called Clawson's. My last name, Clawson's Canines with Class. So all the dogs that leave my dog school got to have some class when they head out.
All right. So it's a dog training school.
I mean, I call it a school, but it's like I'm an instructor of group classes. So I do group classes and I have we do them indoor right now with the winter at Party for You. Shout out to them, 400 Middle Road, Nanticoke, PA. But I also do one-on-one private lessons too. So I go to people's homes. I could either do puppies, adult dogs, behavioral issues, et cetera, any breed, any age. So it will be changing in a few months though. I bought some property where I'm going to have my own facility on my residence. I have a 40 by 48 pole barn, and I'm going to be doing my private stuff there, group classes there. I'm also going to build kennels too. So eventually I'll be doing boarding too as well. So I'm going to kind of venture out into a little bit of everything there. I want to say by April, we'll be having that full swing.
So you're all in.
I'm all in on it. Oh yeah. I love it. I mean, I still love going to the shelter. I haven't been able to as much right now, but when I get up there, I will be, I've been volunteering more with Blue Chip. I had a foster about a couple months ago that really burnt me out. I hurt my back really bad too. That was also part of why I wasn't doing music as much. I herniated my disc really, really bad, where I was in like severe pain. I had to get a few injections, and I had to cancel a few like shows a couple times, like where I just couldn't physically like get up and walk. Sucked. So
was that dog related?
I don't know. I think it was just from like when I was my early days volunteering and stuff. I think just getting like jacked around by some of these crazy dogs that would just come out of the kennel, come out hot, and they would just start, yanking you down the hall, 110 pounds of muscle. So that's when I was like, I got to start figuring out some training stuff here, because I'm getting, I'm getting taken for a ride here.
Yeah, they're walking you. You're not walking them.
Yeah, so I don't do that no more. It's me. I'm I'm controlling the walk now. Way different story now. Yeah.
So I mean, how did that all come about? I mean, especially pit bulls. I mean, people are typically afraid of pit bulls. They have this bad, this stigma about them. How did that all happen?
So it's like silly story, but when I was 17, I wanted a dog, and I just, without my mom knowing, I got a pit bull puppy. These people illegally sold it to me. Technically, he's right next to me. He's 12 now almost. So after that, I mean, I was only like 17, 18 years old. And then I got another one. My mom has rentals, and somebody abandoned the building and left this dog in there. We didn't even know she was in there until the neighbors called, and they said they heard like crying and barking. So we had to kick the door in essentially. And this dog was left there, starved, tied up in the heat, no water.
Man.
Feces, all that. Then like 10 days later, she pops out puppies. We didn't even know she was pregnant. They had her pregnant and everything. So they left her to die pregnant. She was so skinny, they didn't even know. So she had 8 puppies too. So, that was the early days. And then, I don't know, I guess like when I in my mid 20s, like about 4 years ago, I don't know, something came over me. I was like, I want to go volunteer. I want to see what it's about. And, I did the volunteer, program or whatever, the orientation. I started volunteering there, and I just like fell in love with it. And then like there was like 1 or 2 dogs that are like in my business logo that I just like had like, I don't know, such like strong feelings for, but you know what I mean? Like just such a strong love for that. I like was like there like almost every day. And like, it was like, the dog was like, I don't know. There's like certain dogs in me that like, for me as a dog trainer, like changed my life, and it changed my whole like life trajectory. And it made me like really passionate about that, especially. But music was first. I was passionate about the music, but not like I was about dogs. I would say there's more of a balance now, but basically, so I was volunteering. And then the pandemic hit. And I was also working at the SPCA for a bit too. And then the pandemic hit, and also my back, everything was just a disaster essentially at that point in the time of the world and myself. So I was like, I want to start doing this dog training thing. So I started taking classes online, because you remember the early days of quarantine when everybody was, afraid to, run out of toilet paper, all that stuff. Yeah. But so I basically just started taking these classes online, and I was part of a bunch of forums. I applied it to all my animals about 2 years ago now. And then I found this lady. It was just really random. I reached out to this lady from Hazleton. Her name is Michelle Rhodes, Manor of Mutts dog training. I was like, hey, I'm looking to do hands-on stuff. I took some classes. This is where I'm at. And she was like, yeah, I'll help you. And I was like, I'm like, cool. So we met my dogs and her dogs, and, she's into rescue too. So I took her group classes with my own dogs. Like all of them went through her group classes. Then I started assisting her with the group classes and stuff like that. So from there on, for about a half a year, I did that with her. And then I felt comfortable enough to kind of do my own thing, and we're still on great terms, and we still do stuff together. We do, benefit walks and stuff for dogs and all that. So, that's where it really started. And then, obviously I started applying the things I learned from her into the shelter too, which I was able to help quite a few difficult dogs get adopted that were There was one at boot chip for 480 days and nobody could barely touch him. The first time I went to go in with him, he tried to get me good. But after that, he became my buddy though. And his name was Bowser. But after that, I was like, if I could get this dog adopted, I could train a basic pet. So, all that crazy experience and all that stuff is like kind of, I guess, seasoned me in a way faster than some people that were doing it for longer that don't have that kind of, hands-on stuff with some real tough, crazy dogs, So yeah, this is where I'm at now.
That's great. I mean, how do you think this happens to, I mean, I have an idea, but I mean, how do you think these type of dogs get to how they are? Neglect?
Yeah, I think that people just don't realize what the dog needs. They're just thinking that it's, 1 second. I just literally sent a text to my father not to call, and he did. So that's okay. I'm just making sure I could come back up on a full screen here. Can you see me still or no?
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, sorry. So what did you? So how did they get there? Yeah, a lot of times it's like lack of training, lack of knowledge, and getting. A lot of times you see people will get a dog and they're like, because it looks cool, like they don't realize that there's a lot of just high energy inside the dog. Like a Siberian Husky, for example, they're like, well, I don't understand why my Siberian Husky just ate my couch yesterday. And I'll be like, when's the last time you went for a walk? He's like, well, he hangs out in the backyard here and there, but Siberian Huskies are bred to pull sleds in the snow for tens and hundreds of miles, not hundreds of miles, but miles and miles.
Yeah.
So there's a natural high energy there that if you doesn't get, like, imagine if you didn't get your energy out ever, like as a person, you're just in a room, like you lose your mind. So that happens.
That's why I'm fat.
So that happens, and then people get frustrated, they don't know what to do. I always tell people to crate train their dogs because it keeps the dog safe and it keeps them from doing stuff like that, because that's where a lot of stuff is like, oh well, the dog chews stuff up, the dog can't walk on a leash, just silly stuff sometimes. But it's also just irresponsibility, like the pit bulls especially, like overbreeding. There really shouldn't be any breeding of them right now. There's just too many. There's millions and millions of them getting put down every year. People are just breeding them. I don't agree with it. It's not good. A lot of it's inbred, or they're breeding aggressive ones with aggressive parents. So then we're getting more issues on their record, with pit bulls, or, what I mean? All that stuff. It's all relative to their reputation, but yeah, the shelters are just overloaded all the time. People just don't really think, they don't think sometimes with anything people do. Sometimes they don't think, and they don't think like how much responsibility or realize until it's too late sometimes,
Yeah. One of my best friends is, he owns a veterinarian hospital. Yeah. Is that right? Veterinarian? Yeah. Veterinary. Yeah, whatever. We talk a lot, obviously, and he'll talk about how, people who own pets don't understand, the financial aspect of owning a pet.
Yeah.
From the top down, it's the financial issues, and like you're saying, you got to be able to, take them for walks and train them and do all these things. You don't just get a dog out of a box and it just is, exactly how you want it to be. It takes some time. It's like, a lot of people relate their pets to their children, and like children, I mean, you have to really, it's a responsibility, and if you don't take that serious, you're definitely going to have some issues.
Yeah, it's the same thing with there's a lot of dog training politics, and some people don't believe in punishment and dog training, and that's where I do to an extent. I also believe in positive reinforcement aspect of it, but the people that just want to reward the dog, there's no area that makes the dog understand what's wrong. Same thing with parenting. If you never were to reprimand your child, I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not good.
No, you need both, right?
You guys out there, I don't agree with your methodology. I'm sorry. So you could come at me, but I don't agree with it. And my results speak for themselves, and I'm very passionate about what I do. And I'm trying to keep the dog from not getting euthanized at the end of the day at the shelter. So,
Yeah. And I imagine you've seen that happen. I mean, how heartbreaking is that?
It's terrible. I sat on in my life, I won't say where, but I sat in on one euthanasia in my life because nobody else really dealt with the dog. He wasn't there long, but yeah, it was really gut-wrenching experience, to be honest with you. And that's where for me, like, I kind of think started to think like, wow, like this is not, I give people credit that do those jobs. That's so hard. But for me, it was really just like mentally destroying me to see that kind of stuff. And I had to figure out the opposite end, like how to combat that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like, I give those people all the credit in the world. And it's like, I couldn't do that. I don't know how else to say it, just can't do it.
Yes. So that one that was in for 480 some days, that was probably a pretty rewarding experience then, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah. I still talk to the people. They're great. I mean, they knew what they were getting too. Like, I'm the type of person, like, that's another thing too with some places, rescues wherever it may be. If you're not transparent about what you're giving somebody dog wise, you're going to usually end up with the dog getting returned or somebody getting hurt. And I was very transparent with them that he had issues still, that we worked through them, how to work through them, and there was bumps in the road, but they totally knew. I was like, there may be a time where this dog may try to bite you. And the guy who told me, he was really awesome. Like, you don't meet people like this often. He was like, he's like, I really don't care. I was like, I'm serious. I'm like, I'm not kidding. He's like, yeah. He's like, my last dog was nuts. He bit me a lot. I was like, well, all right, well then give it a shot. He didn't ever really try to bite them though. He was pretty good, but he is an escape artist, I guess. I guess he learned how to open up like their windows. He can get out of like windows and stuff, which is like totally insane. But they kept him. The dog is crazy. I mean, you can only manage crazy. You can't change it. Yeah. But he never was socialized for like the first 4 years of his life, and he lived in the shelter for almost 2 years. Like, what do you really expect? You're not going to expect. But they were very, very understanding about it. But I was very transparent. I wasn't like, yeah, this is a really amazing dog you got here. He's gonna come in. He's gonna come in and be real chill, real easy.
Make sure you bring the kids around him. Yeah, he's gonna be great.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I thought, when we spoke back, a few years ago, I thought it was really admirable what you did with the, just donating time at the SPCA and kind of, just spending time with these animals. And now you've made it into a full blown business. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how things work. I'm thankful for it too. It's been great. Honestly. I love it. I do. I love
Clawson's canines,
plural with class.
All right. Clawson's canines with class.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I was like, I was going to do something different. And I had people online saying you have to keep your name in it because people know you. I was like, you're right. Whatever. We'll go with that. And, we went with it. It rocks.
I agree. I mean, you build this persona around things like that. Like, I mean, like when I launched this thing, the last thing I want to do is have my name in it.
Right. Yeah.
People smarter than me were like, you'd be stupid not to, because people know who you are and you can kind of build off of that. So
that's what people told me too. Same exact thing.
Smart move.
Yep.
Smart move. Yep. That's like your buddy Gus. You're trying to he's constantly thinking about changing his name, Gus the Savage, to something else. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
He's always changing his mind. Shout out to Gus though. He's my boy. We're actually doing, what's really cool is there's another show. I don't know all the details. I know it's April 23rd for Carbon County Animal Shelter. I'm a sponsor for it. Gus is going to be performing Maine, myself. So, that'll be a good time too. So I'll get to see Gus and get to perform a little bit and all that too. Keep an eye out for that show as well.
Yeah, definitely. But let's get into the music. I mean, you've been kind of doing this hip hop genre, I guess you could say, right? For I don't know how long now, 4 or 5 years, longer. I don't know.
4 or 5 years. Yeah. And like this album, very like, I would say pretty R&B, like all throughout. I do have 3 features on it that somebody else is a hip hop artist. I have Oliver Spitz on there. I got Maine. And I have my one friend, Saeed, on there too. He's from Harrisburg. But I kept it mostly myself. It has a lot of slower love songs called Layers of Love. It's just about basically, stuff that I've experienced throughout relationships, whether it be like, the real deep love, serious stuff, the early stages, rough patches, makeup, breakup. Like that's basically the whole album. That's what kind of songs are on there. There's, I think, 11 tracks. It's released on February 19th. And we're doing the album release show, at the Jazz Cafe. I have a really awesome lineup on there. I'm really lucky. And we're donating 100% of the door proceeds to Blue Chip Animal Refuge that night as well.
Yeah, so I know, like, I saw you have Sweetnest on there. I think Esta, Coda,
Yeah.
um, Dustin Douglas, and the Electric Gentleman. I know
Yeah.
you've worked with Amanda Rogan, who is Sweetnest,
Yep.
and I think in turn you've also worked with Esta Coda because you've worked at JL Studios with Jay
Yeah.
Preston, right?
Yep. Yep. And Daniel Rosler was also on that song with Amanda, the same one,
Yeah,
Serenity.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
right. So I mean, like, I know where that kind of all comes together,
Yeah.
but when I saw Dustin Douglas on there, I'm like, how did these guys hook up?
So yeah, no. So Matt Gabriel,
Okay.
who was in Dustin Douglas, that sounded really weird, in the band. So anyway, sorry. So he's in the band, and
I mean,
so
who knows? They're weird.
yeah.
Matt's a weird guy. I love Matt. He's a weirdo.
Matt, I love
Oh,
Matt too. So
I've known Matt for a long time.
that's what's up. So yeah, so there was a dog at Blue Chip named Cash, big head, blockhead pit bull, 90 pounds, total maniac, real crazy dog, hyped up, like he was ready to go. Never had any training, so somehow I started doing some training with him, very minimal stuff when I was up there. Started getting him to like act normal on a leash because I think he almost broke my back once. Actually, went after a squirrel. It's pretty bad. So I was like, wow, this guy really needs some help here. So Matt comes. He's like, yo, dude. I'm like, yo, dude. He was awesome. He loved the dog. I gave him a free group class just when I started doing group classes I was doing under the assistance of my former mentor, and we just kept in touch. And then I had spoke to him about this idea with the album release show relative to Blue Chip and all that. And he's the one that really got my foot in the door there. Because they perform there a lot. So that, and Dustin was down with it, and they're actually going to back me for a few songs that night too. So
Cool.
yeah, it started from my animal work. So it worked out there for that. It's pretty cool.
Did Matt get a dog from you, or did he bring a dog to you?
He got a dog from Blue Chip that I was directly working with for like a month or two, and then he took him to the group class that I provided, free of charge, just because I wanted to make sure that the dog was going to stay there and be good. And he did great with him, and he takes him on. He has him trained he needs a lot of exercise, and Matt likes to exercise, which is perfect match. He's trained Cash to pull his bicycle, and he knows to turn left and right. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. He has some videos on his Facebook. I was like, yeah, it's a pretty cool idea to get that dog tired because he has a lot of energy. But yeah,
check that out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where that came from. I will say we also got Oliver Spitz on there. We have Maine the Medicine, and we have Mercy Gang too. The band. Thinking if I'm missing anybody else. I really hope not. No. And it is. What's that? Sorry.
I know. I took the picture of the flyer here.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't leave anybody out. Well, Astrology Days is presenting Dustin Douglas, Sweetnest, Esta Coda, Mercy Gang, Oliver Spitz, Maine the Medicine. Yep. You got everybody. Yep. Yeah,
and shout out to Ben Travers, who's behind Astrology Days. He was the one to really get the promotion plan set up and all that. Had me get some posters. I gave him posters. He got them out there, and we got some ads running and all that stuff. So shout out to Ben for that too. Been very helpful with all that.
Cool. Yeah, he's been on the podcast before.
Yeah, very organized show. It's probably the most organized show I've ever been part of. So, I'm excited to do it. I'm excited for a good cause too, and I'm just happy that I'm doing it with people that that are really talented, and that most of them that I've known since I started music. Really, so it'll be a special night. Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like you kind of got all aspects of the music world. Your R&B style paired with the blues rock trio from Dustin Douglas. Then you have the alternative rock from Esta Coda.
Yeah,
I mean, that band I love, and then not to mention Maine and Oliver Spitz. It's quite the variety for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted, and I also wanted to, with my hip hop friends too. I wanted to. That's the first time I believe that Jazz Cafe has had any rap hip hop for like a decade or so.
Okay. So and who helped facilitate that? Ben?
Yeah, they were just cool with it because they trust me, you know what I mean? And I think what happened was years ago, I don't know the whole details, but I think there was something happened with the show and it didn't work out and caused some issues. And, there wasn't any hip hop there for a long time. But I want to pave the way for my friends. And I want to give, I'm not a hip hop artist, but everyone that I know is a hip hop artist. And I want to give R&B too, and hip hop. I want to give us a good name around this area. I want to have respect, and I want us to be associated with, positive things. Because there's sometimes people just consider hip hop and R&B, and they're like, yeah, see you later. It's happened to me, happened to Maine. It's like, yeah, we don't do that kind of music. You know what I mean? So, it's a good opportunity. And I think that, if it goes really well, which I think it will, hopeful it will, that we can do more things like this in the future, and also being an independent artist is not all about making money. I want to make a difference in the community. And, I felt like this was the best way to do so. And, I'm releasing my album at the same time. So I think all in all, it's just it's a win-win for everybody,
Yeah, you're definitely doing it right. And I want to go back. You mentioned Maine, and you did an album with him a couple years ago called Medicine for the Soul. And I thought that was a brilliant name because you have Maine the medicine, TySoul, combine the two kind of together, Medicine for the Soul. And it was a collaboration. And it's great. It's a great album. Love what you guys did with that. You guys even did a kind of a live stream release show because we were during COVID and all that kind of stuff. I think you may have donated to another great cause for that. But you're releasing a new album under your name. How was doing this album alone different from working with a partner?
I think at that point in my life, like I'm still grateful for it. Like I needed that because I was like, I don't know, like I just didn't feel like I could do it on my own. I don't know if there was a lack of confidence at the time for a temporary period of time or what, but like this album, I mean, it's just a whole other experience. I think having full control over everything is good and bad, like when you do it all on your own, because you second guess yourself a lot. So when I had Maine, he's like, nah, you're good, like chill. When it's just me, I'm like really, really OCD, which is, like I said, good and bad. And then, I always joke around and say that I'm going to have to pay for Joe and Jay's therapy for, nitpicking myself so much. But yeah, I mean, I think overall though, like just going through all that, like that kind of album, my first album on my own, album with Maine, now this, I feel like this has been the most complete project. I got my cover art right here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah. Yep.
Got the layers of love, the heart. But I had Ethan Tibbins do that. Shout out to him, who I met through Oliver Spitz a few years back, opening up for Swayze. But yeah, no, I think from front to back, it's my most complete project. It makes sense too. It progresses from, kind of being, I guess in love to an extent, and then kind of goes to the end where we there's a breakup, you know what I mean? So it's a really nice storyline in a way, simply put though, but it's, it's a real R&B album. And I compare my stuff, like I'm just going on a rant, tangent, but I compare my stuff to like the best of the best in the actual industry. So I'm very, very picky, and, my goal is always to make it sound like it came from, Jive Records or Sony Records, you know what I mean, in Hollywood. I want it to sound comparable to those guys. So that's what kind of meticulous work I put into this project. So, yeah.
Now the songs you wrote, I mean, you talk about love. I mean, did you talk about past experiences, current experiences? Did you just kind of make things up, or how did that come together?
Yeah. So sometimes definitely past experiences, recent experiences, kind of current stuff too. Just right at the end here of the album, I wrote a few extra songs that I just came out because that's how I was feeling. Yeah, no, there's a little bit of everything that I felt, and I'm hopeful that people will be like, oh, I've dealt with that before. I've felt that way before. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's the inspiration is from all those things that I've experienced in relationships, not just one singular person and whatnot, but in the past, in the present, not the present so much, but the past mostly. And then I guess going off of that, I'm trying to think what I was going to say. I lost my words there, so just let me go there.
That's fine.
You their question.
That's fine. No, I was just wondering where the inspiration for songwriting comes from, because like, I mean, I can never write about, I could never write songs. I've never really tried. I'm not musically inclined. But I think, I know if I was going to, I would probably write about stuff I was going through.
Yeah.
And then like, I think I would probably only be able to do it if I was like sad, like
Yeah, no, for
I don't,
sure.
I don't know that I could write about being happy, like without sounding like a real like weirdo. If
That's
that makes
funny.
any sense. I don't know.
No, I feel yes. So sometimes I'll take a situation like a sad situation that's not really that sad, and in my mind, I'll make it more dramatic than it really is to make it into a song.
Okay.
I'm able to do that. Like that's something I'll do sometimes. Like I'll over dramatic. How do they say it? Over dramatize.
Yeah, that works.
That works. So I'll do that for some stuff. Some of the stuff though is straight up like just real. You know what I mean? There's a few that sometimes I'll like really, create a story. Something maybe happened that was kind of similar, but I'm like, oh, like let's make this like a little bit, a little bit sadder or a little bit more intense,
Yeah.
So I guess that's just how my brain works. And like, I guess writing for so long, sometimes when you go through writer's block, I've learned to combat writer's block that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was really happy to see you pop back up into the scene, so to speak, with some new music, and I've added it to some playlists I put out there. Not that that matters, but I've always been a big fan.
Appreciate you. It
Yeah,
matters.
I've always been a big fan, and it was really cool to see you kind of in your element, because I came down when you're doing the album with Maine the Medicine. I did like a little intro for you guys,
Yeah.
and it was really cool to see you in your element, because I've always talked to you like this. You were in the studio a few years ago as well, but to see you in it, and I could see like you were almost overthinking yourself, or not even that, but just like
Yeah.
you were completely just in a zone.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to see people like in their element and kind of in a different world.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a different world down there. You wouldn't think. You wouldn't even think it's there. It's like having so many dogs now. When I go there, it's like I consider like I'm going there tomorrow, like all day, and I consider it like a vacation.
Was this album done there too?
Oh yeah, every little bit. Yeah.
JL Studios, man.
Yeah. Shout out to JL Studios. Yo, shout out to Jay Preston. Shout out to Joe Loftus. You guys are the best.
There's so many artists that I talk to that always get talk really highly of them.
Oh yeah. Both of them are equally amazing.
Jay's great.
Shout out to Benny's Pizza too. We had a lot of chicken wing pizza from Benny's up there in Peckville. That stuff is
dude. If Benny's doesn't start sponsoring the show or sending me pizza, I'm gonna be really upset, because I feel like I'm always talking about them too. Their pizza is so good.
It is too good. So good. I probably gained about 20 pounds during this album recording because I have so much Benny's up there.
Yeah,
that's all right.
And Jay's awesome too. I see Jay every now and then. My kid and his one daughter are close in age, I guess you could say. But I saw him at some basketball games that our kids were in. So he's such a good guy.
Jay's awesome. Yeah. Jay's very patient with me too. Like, I mean, I don't know how he deals with me, but he is. He's great. He has great ideas too. There's, he's just a really awesome musician and an engineer too. And person, I don't know him too much outside of it, but every time I see Jay, he's always like, "Hey man, what's up?" He's always super pleasant, Got love for Jay.
Super pleasant, just positive too. I wish I could just steal some of that from him.
A little bit, right? He's pretty chill too. He's just like chill, he's just like
whatever.
Man. Yeah. He really is. I'm like all like in the studio like this. I'm like, yo man, like what do you think about it? He's like, yeah man, you're good, But yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So February 19th, River Street Jazz Cafe in Plains, Pennsylvania. Album release show, Layers of Love. Great bands on the bill. He mentioned a show about 2 months later in April to get lined up. What else this year do you have lined up, if anything?
Yeah, we have it's myself, Maine, Wig, Marcella. I think I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. There's a few other people too. Carl Hall. I believe it's March 23rd. I could actually check that if I could find it. But I believe it's some point in end of March that Carl Hall will be at as well. Me and Maine and a few other people. That's just going to be, I think, mostly hip hop, and then myself doing some R&B. That's a 18 plus show, BYOB, I believe that's what they do there. The one on February 19th is 21 plus. But yeah, so we got February 19th at the River Street Jazz Cafe. We have Carl Hall in March, and then in April, I believe forget what the name of the place is. I'm more of a feature, like I'm sponsoring the show through my business, or I'm a sponsor per se, and I'm doing some stuff with Gus on stage, and I'm doing some of stuff that me and Maine did together. So that's why I don't have all the details right off the top of my head. I know it's April 23rd. I want to say it's somewhere in Scranton, but I probably should know that soon, but we'll be all right.
You got a couple months. You'll figure it out.
We'll be all right though. But that's what's planned as of now. And then my friend Oliver Spitz always has stuff come up. So I may be going down to Lock Haven in between then. He has a lot of connections out in Colorado as well. And he just invited me. He just invited me to go. I believe he went to, I want to say he went to DC the other day or Virginia, but I couldn't. It was yesterday and I was working yesterday and I wanted to, because there's a band up there that he knows that does like bluesy stuff, and me and him eventually maybe want to do a collaboration where we do that with a full band. I'm trying to get a full band at some point. I have a guitarist in mind, but I would like to get a full band. I think that would be pretty cool to perform covers too, and some of my originals.
I was going to ask you. I mean, are you going to stick with the R&B, or is there going to be like is there a different side of TySoul that we want to explore?
Different side that you want to explore now. So I'm thinking R&B is always going to be there, but I was considering, just for fun here, once I have some downtime after this album, I was considering doing a country song.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
Why not?
I'm gonna keep the country voice private right now, but I'll tell you, it's pretty good.
I could hear that in your voice a little bit.
Yeah, it's easier for me to sing than R&B music. R&B music for me is like a lot harder. I think, and I mean, just in terms of writing a song, though, I don't know how much inspiration I'll have. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to have specific lyrics. Just more of a sound, I think. You know what I mean? But I don't think it would be like full country. I think it would be like a poppier country type of song. You know what I mean?
So today's country, basically.
Yeah, like a Kane Brown or something like that. Something like, I dabble a little bit, but I won't go like full country. But yeah, I'm down for some rock and roll too. I always I have a few songs with I have at least one song with Mercy Gang. Like I sing the chorus. I wrote the chorus on. That's a little bit still like R&B, but it's they did the full band and they with the hip hop, but that's pretty cool too. I want to do a couple more songs with them so we can like perform a set here and there. Sure. That'd be fun.
And it seems like you've worked with a lot of musicians in NEPA, and I think that's great. I mean, when I was coming up, when I started in the local music scene, it was very cutthroat, and everyone was, they wanted to be the headliner of the show, or they felt that, they should have had the show at the big club in town as opposed to the other guy. What has it meant to you to be, part of this local scene here in NEPA, where it has been so, such a group effort and such a support?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has to pay their dues, and I think as long as you're a humble person and you're a hard worker, people will respect you in this local scene for sure. I've never had any, FUs thrown my way from anybody or anything like that. And the people that you find that you really have stuff in common with, even if it's not musically, just as a person, those are the people you stick with. And that's like, going on this show, like Amanda, like we don't do the same kind of music, but I love Amanda. She's an awesome person. We've done a song together, but overall our genres are totally different. But, somebody like that I've stuck with, support, I've always supported my music and I support her music. Super welcoming group of people on that bill. When I met Dustin like last week. I never met him. Super, super nice guy. Like, I just like to work with people like that. I mean, I feel like there's bad apples everywhere for everything. And, those are the kind of things that I stay away from, and the negativity. And I just try to stay positive and work with positive people. And then I think everything works out better that way. But it's been an experience though, and you go through ups and downs where you got to find, a tight knit group of people to stick with, like Maine and my friend Oliver too. Those guys have been there for me since the beginning. I don't know if I would be doing music without those guys. Oliver too has offered me tons of perspective about how to properly roll out a release and get your cover art done and all that stuff, and that stuff's helped me tremendously,
Yeah. And how did you become a musician, and why R&B?
So yeah, good question. So I was singing like always when I was little. My mom was always an R&B fan. So when I always tell people like literally 5, 6 years old, she was listening to like Usher's, I think, second album. And then I got like Chris Brown's first album when I was like 16. I was always just singing in the car, you know. Then I met like Maine when I was like 18, and I did some like covers here and there. And then I didn't really do nothing for like 4 years. And then I get a call from him and he's like, yo, he's like, what's up? He's like, come up here to this place. It was JL Studios. I didn't know where I was going. He's like, and then I wrote my first hook for them on Mercy Gang's album. I forget which one it was. I think it was their album or a mixtape, it might have been. And then after that, I started going back up. And then like when I found like a studio that can produce that kind of quality, I was like, oh, like, well, okay, well, this is how, you know, you get to sound good. I mean, you got to be decent too, but like these guys really, really, really bring it up to the next level. So after that, I kind of just got addicted to writing. I use it as like mental therapy for me. When I started writing my first songs, I was going through like years ago, like a bad relationship. And when I'd go up there, I would let it all out, you know? So that's where I fell in love with it. And, you know, at the time I didn't really know what else it was, but now for me, it's still that, but it also, you know, being a local musician, I feel like you have a responsibility to, you know, have a positive benefit to your community too. So, I mean, as a person in general, you should do that, but that's what I like to do with it. I like to give it purpose through that as well, you know?
Yeah. How many people do you think Maine has kind of groomed? I mean, because Maine to me, like I know him not well, but I think well enough. To me, he's like this. I like to call him like Biggie, like, and he kind of sounds like him at times, but he's also like just this like, just happy, like for the most part, like just happy person. I think he, you know, brings people together. Not that I know if Biggie did that, but I just feel like Biggie had his group, right? His, you know, he had like P. Diddy, all those guys, but just like someone you wanted to be around. I mean, how important is Maine to this area?
I mean, he's way more important than people give him the respect for. I'll tell you that, like for sure. I don't know if you know this. On his album coming up, I have a song. I'm on a song with him, and so is Ed Kuzo. He has him on the album. Like Maine has brought together so many different genres, like you know what I mean, including me and other people. He's connected me with Amanda. He's connected me with my backup singer that's coming to the show on February 19th as well. Like he's connected so many different people and helped them work together just through word of mouth and just like showing love to people. Like he'll shows people my stuff and like, you know, and then like, I'll, you know, people will message me or whatever, I'll make a connection and stuff like that. So yeah, like, yeah, he's worked with so many different people, so many different genres. He's a super open-minded artist. Like he will do anything. Like I feel like Maine, like if I wrote a country song and sang on it, like he would be like, yo, let me do a verse on that. You know, like he's open to do anything. He'll make anything work, you know? So yeah,
dude, he's on a Mike Jordan and the Gypsy Souls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a video for that. Yeah, I watched that video too. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, when I first heard that song, and this is before I think I knew of Maine, but not a ton, but you know, I'm listening to the song and it was like good on its own. And then where he comes in, like that just pulled the song, like everything together. And like, holy shit, that made this song 10 times better than what it was. And yeah, I think he's got that ability to kind of bring that to whatever he does.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that man's done I've probably got a couple, I want to say over 100 songs at jail. He probably had about 300, 400.
Damn.
So he's well seasoned. He could, like I said, he's ready to go on any kind of record at any time, and he can make it better than it is without him for sure.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
I really love the scene here locally in the PA. It's a great thing to be a part of. I'm blessed to be part of your lives in a small capacity. So yeah, I'm excited for you and your new record.
Thank you.
Best of luck with the release show.
Hey man, if you're not busy, come on out. You know, I'll buy you a beer or 5.
I don't need 5. Maybe 1. But yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get to Jazz Cafe on this Friday for the Lifer show. We'll make it back-to-back Fridays at the Jazz Cafe.
Saturday,
the 19th. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
I had the date right. The 19th.
There you go.
Saturday the 19th.
I actually said that before that, like a couple weeks ago. I told somebody it was the 18th, and I'm like, nah, it's the 9th. I didn't even have the date right. So there you go. And I'm on the show. It's my, it's my album release. So yeah,
I'm not even sure what today is, dude.
Don't do that to me. Don't ask me.
No, I rushed home today. I saw on social media they were where I live. They were giving citations to people who didn't have their sidewalks cleared
today, because it was melted today. They waited a little too long.
Dude, where I live, it's still not melted. We got probably a half inch of ice. And then so this happens Friday. And then there was a dusting of snow on top of it. So I didn't touch it because I was like, the snow on top gave it traction. So I'm like, I'm gonna leave it here until it was like 2 degrees the last couple of days. Today was the first nice day that and then I was at work all day. So it's like, so I rushed home to try and get there before, I got a citation. I didn't get one yet. I'm waiting for it to come though. I was pissed.
Well, it's gonna be like 45 degrees, I think Wednesday. So I think they're,
yeah. Well,
really trying to. I don't know what they're trying to do, but hey,
trying to piss people off.
That's what the townships like to do usually.
Man,
it's part of their job.
If I didn't pay enough taxes already, they want to try and get me for this.
Oh yeah, they'll get you. Man. You'll get it in the mail like 2 months from now when it's like 80 degrees out.
That's like the one time. It was 2017. It snowed. It was March. It snowed. I think it was like 2 feet of snow. The point where the town that I live in was, they said if you're not an emergency vehicle, stay off the road. My boss at the time said, hey, hang tight at home, stay home. We have a webinar anyways this afternoon. Make sure you're on there. And we got to work a couple of days later. And we got a letter from the ownership that said like, hey, if you were not at work the day of the snowstorm, you will be required to take a vacation day to cover it. Okay. I was like, wow, bad. This is bad leadership. Bad leadership. I couldn't believe it. Believe it. What are you doing? What are you doing? My car was half covered in snow. Want me to drive?
Yeah. That's crazy. I hear that.
But whatever. No one's hearing me bitch about stupid shit. I apologize for getting off topic. But dude, best of luck with your new album. I'm assuming let people know where they can find it when it's out.
Yeah, so it's gonna be February 19th. Layers of Love. You type in TySoul, you'll find me on all streaming platforms. I guess I'll plug my socials. So TySoul music _ is my Instagram. TySoul space music is my Facebook music page. And then there is also Astrology Days Presents TySoul Layers of Love album release show group event page. You can join and you can say if you're interested or going or whatnot. And you can also buy tickets on the Jazz Cafe's website. I have some links on my Facebook too. And if you see any posters around there, also have a QR code too. You can get them right there. But the album will be on all streaming platforms February 19th. It'll be physical copies as well. And that night, I'm also going to donate 20% of any merch that I sell to Blue Chip Animal Refuge. So whether it be albums, t-shirts, hoodies, we got the hoodies right here.
Yeah, where are you getting those done?
Newport Decal. You work for a t-shirt company, so we're gonna have trouble.
I do. Axelrad, bro.
Axelrad. So
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
So to go through with what I was gonna say there, these guys are like 2 seconds from me.
Yeah.
And like my dad used to run bodybuilding shows. So my dad ordered stuff from them since I was like 10. So they really super like hooked me up where like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
I'm only kidding. I'm not mad at you.
They're hooking me up.
There's enough business to go around. Good for them.
No, they're all right. They're good. They're all right.
Yeah, those nice shirts.
They're all right. Yeah, they came out nice. I like it.
Sweet. So yeah, 20% donated from the merch sales on the 19th. Another cool thing you're doing for that.
Yeah. And I think I didn't ask the other artists yet, so I'm not going to speak for them, but I think we'll at least get, 1 or 2 other artists to jump on board with that. If not, hey, that's not necessary, but I think we'll be able to get a couple other people to get involved on that one too that night. So that'll be
cool. And I'm guessing Spotify, Apple, all the streaming services as well.
I guess what is it? Google Play, YouTube puts the album on too. If you want to check out my singles now, I have a real nice lyric video that I hired somebody on Fiverr and it came out awesome. It's kind of like a wedding ballad in a way, a wedding song ballad it could kind of be. It's called Love. And then there's another song I have a video for, single on my YouTube page. If you type in TySoul, it's called What I Need. Those are also on Spotify as well. So there's some real R&B jams right there that you can jam out to if you're an R&B fan.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time tonight to do this. Looking forward to the new release, and hopefully I'll see you at the show.
Oh yeah, brother. I appreciate your time though. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey,
Awesome.
You guys have a good night. Everybody that tuned in.
Cool.
February 19th. Come see us.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. All right, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care. Good night.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.